We're here with Marty Gitlin. Marty, it's so neat to come in here. Now, Marty's an author. How many books? I ran out of time to looking through the pages on Amazon.
About 140, but most of them are educational books for kids, so they were a little bit shorter. They didn't take that much time to do.
I mean, and you're talking about all kinds. I've seen some about pictorial books of bridges, and I saw a lot of sports.
Yeah, a little bit of everything. When you're an educational book author and you're solely an author, you pretty much have to take whatever assignment you get. But that's why I like doing the books that I'm doing now. I'm doing a lot of trade books, that are on my own. Those are the books that I, come up with the ideas, and I pitch them, and I have an agent, and we see how well we can do as far as getting these books done.
Now, one of the most recent, it's so recent, it isn't even out yet at the time that we're filming this, even though it's supposed to have been out. It's on the top 100 TV cartoons, a list of them.
Yeah, it's the book is called A Celebration of Animation, the 100 Greatest Cartoon Characters in Television History, and my co-author and I are the first authors ever to actually rank the greatest cartoon characters.
How do you rank them?
It's not easy. There was a lot of disagreement, and we had to use a lot of different criteria. We didn't want to be subjective. We didn't want to be subjective. We wanted to be more objective in our rankings. So we wanted to use legacy and the voice and the cartoons that those particular characters were in, and use a lot of different criteria to rank the top 100, but we have Bugs Bunny #1, and all the 100 cartoon characters that are in the book I think are really worthy.
It's kind of funny, when you were giving your talk, one of the librarian actually asked, when do you think the violence took a turn on here? But when I was growing up, the most violent hour on television was the Bugs Bunny Roadrunner hour. That was rated by, when they were rating violence, that was the most violent. Because the Three Stooges didn't have a regular network show at that time. But
and the thing was, there weren't any complaints about the violence at that time, really. There was very little, until maybe the 70s, I think, was when the parents started to complain a little bit about it. But there wasn't really a problem with the kids being overly violent then, and now it's more of a factor, apparently. And there is still a lot of violence in the cartoons. It depends on the cartoon you're watching. I mean, Family Guy has tons of violence in it, and South Park has its share, and there was a lot of swearing in South Park. And but Tom and Jerry, I guess, is considered by a lot of people to be the most violent cartoon of all time.
Wow. Good old MGM there.
Yeah.
And yet,
good stuff.
Jerry Mouse got to dance with Gene Kelly.
Yeah, that's right.
And Anchors Away.
Yeah, and Tom and Jerry's considered to be one of the greatest cartoons of all time, even though it's very, very violent. It's considered to be easily the #1 cat and mouse cartoon of all time.
Well, and outside of a few humans in there, there's almost never a word spoken.
The animation, the cartooning was just absolutely wonderful, and I think that in the theatrical shorts, that's the way it was. The theatrical shorts cartooning had a lot more depth to it than the cartooning when TV started. But there are a lot of great TV cartoons as well. They just didn't have the time to produce, the animation that was as strong as the animation that you found in the theatrical shorts. Well, even like Walter Lantz and the Warner Brothers and Terry Toons and whatever, those were all.
Not like the good old Cambrian clutch cargos.
Yeah,
where
Clutch
just
Cargo.
had the
I hadn't thought about Clutch Cargo in a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Space Angel and Captain Fathom. They had a whole series of those type things where they were episodic. But some even like the Bullwinkle, like the Hoppity Hoopers, were episodic as well. So it's just,
I hadn't thought about Hoppity Hooper in a while. You got some. You have a great memory.
I spent too much time.
Well, there. Bullwinkle is arguably the greatest cartoon character from the television generation that was created during the television generation. I mean, we have in our book, Bullwinkle is in our top 10 cartoon characters of all time, and there's several from. Stewie Griffin of Family Guy is in there, and Cartman and so forth. But Bullwinkle was awesome.
I mean, almost whenever I'm putting on my clothes, hey Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit on my head. Just because there's nothing up my sleeve, presto type thing. It's odd because I'm not by nature an early riser. I agree with John Belushi. If God had wanted me to see the sunrise, he would have made it come up at noon. But when it comes to Saturday morning,
right,
I was up before the cartoons came in. I was watching them do. So here is Farmer Joe, and then
I remember that stuff. Yeah,
it would
at
find
6 in the morning, 6:30.
It would 6 in the morning, and then it would open up to Felix the Cat, and I did see him use his magical bag of tricks at times.
Okay,
you just don't get to see enough of those anymore.
Yeah, I watched Felix the Cat quite often. Whatever ones I must have missed those, but there were 2 hours of the Warner Brothers. I remember that. There was like from 9 to 11 or 10 to 12, whatever. There was 2 hours, and there was quite a bit of Hanna-Barbera and Woody Woodpecker, whatever it was. It was 4 hours, 4 straight hours of cartoons from 8 to 12, and that was what we waited for all week.
Even the great thing about cartoons, even when I visited family, whatever, and we went for the weekend, they were always there waiting for you. When you turned on that TV.
Sure.
And
it was the baby boomer generation too, and everyone had kids and everything, and they all liked the same stuff.
Now, so many of the cartoons, they were, I feel, were really adult-oriented with kids in mind. There was enough slapstick in there for the kids, but even the Bugs Bunnies, those were really more adult. They weren't like adult humor, but they're things that only adults would get, don't you think?
Right, and Bullwinkle was the same way. And the thing with the theatrical shorts is that they wanted to appeal to the adults too. I mean, these were shown before movies, and a lot of them were shown. Obviously, they had double features on Saturday for kids or whatever. But a lot of the cartoons back then were shown to adults as theatrical shorts, and they wanted to appeal to everybody.
So, how did you actually get interested in the whole cartoon genre?
I just was always interested in it. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, like we talked about Saturday mornings or Captain Penny, whatever, and I was a little bit surprised when I realized that and learned that nobody had ever done a book like this.
Without
actually ranking the greatest cartoon characters. I mean, I think it's wonderful. I like ranking cartoon characters like I did when I did a sitcom book, the greatest sitcoms of all time, and it creates a little bit of debate and friendly conversation, and I think that there were so many different genres, so many different eras of cartoons, and so many different types of cartoon characters, and you had the funny cartoon characters, you had the superheroes, and to be able to rank them causes a lot of debate, and I think it's just wonderful.
And you even have a foreword by SpongeBob.
Tom Kenny is the voice of Spongebob Squarepants, and he wrote the foreword to the book, A Celebration of Animation, the 100 Greatest Cartoon Characters in Television History, and he was really, what he was particularly happy about? That we actually have Patrick in the top 100 as well.
Okay.
SpongeBob is in our top 5, I'll give that away, and Patrick is in our top 100 as well.
And you said a lot of them were not all put in as a team.
Rocky and Bullwinkle was one major exception, because Bullwinkle is so far superior as a character to Rocky in terms of humor and in terms of depth. Rocky was kind of the straight man, and Rocky's wonderful. I love Rocket J. Squirrel. June Foray was a wonderful voice artist, but Bullwinkle was such a superior character that we have Bullwinkle in the book in our top 100, in top 10 actually, another one. And not Rocky. But on the other hand, we have lots of teams. Ren and Stimpy are in as a team. Boris and Natasha are in as a team. So we have, most of the time, Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner. Right. Most of the time we have them as teams together. But if one character was so far superior to the other, we just separated them.
Again, without giving numbers away, Beany and Cecil.
Yeah, and they're a team also. Yeah, Beany and Cecil made it. I used to watch Beany and Cecil. I had a beanie when I was a kid.
You had a beanie?
Yeah, and you'd spin the thing around, and it would fly off your head. I was real little then, man. That was I'm 61 years old, but I was maybe 6, 7 years old, and I had a beanie, and spin it around and fly off your head. That was really, really cool. That was a really, really cartoon. Yeah, Crusader Rabbit was considered like one of the very, very first TV cartoons.
Okay.
And we have Crusader Rabbit in the book, mostly for that distinction.
For the
but he
historical.
was also a good character. But yeah, and that's, you know, I mean, legacy is important in terms of this, how we ranked our top 100.
That's fantastic. Now, how can they get a hold of your book?
Well, I'm going to be picking up just in a few days now. Finally, the book is actually going to be out. I'm going to Pennsylvania to pick up copies, but it's already ready to be bought. You can buy it on cartooncharactersbook.com. It's www.cartooncharactersbook.com, and you can purchase it there. I'm selling it a lot cheaper than Amazon or any other site, and I'm also autographing it for free, personalizing it for free, and shipping it for free as well. So it's a great bargain. I mean, it's really, and the book is so much fun. There's a lot of images of the cartoon characters in there, a lot of colorful images and a lot of trivia, and talk about the development of the cartoon characters and you know, why we rank them and where we rank them. It's just a complete book, and it's a really, really fun book.
Anyway, hey, it was great to meet you. And,
Well, thank
and to
you.
talk a few cartoons and bring back a heck of a lot of memories during your presentation.
That was a blast.
and some of the clips.
I can talk cartoons 24 hours a day. Cartoons and sports, man. I can.
Unfortunately, talking, it doesn't just always pay the bill. But,
No, you
but
gotta be
get the
watching.
book, it helps pay his bills, and you'll have a good time.
Thanks.